Welcome everybody jumping on for a quick Q&A and conversation around the next guided self-pleasure experience. These are an event that I'm putting on twice a month, and I'm inviting in guest teachers to lead the guided pleasure experience in their own style. This next guided self-pleasure experience is on Wednesday, and this event is to give men another option of how they relate with self-pleasure or masturbation. And this is in response to what I believe is men not having a clear example of what a healthy relationship to sexuality looks like. And so the guided self-pleasure experience is to have teachers that know how to lead men into pleasurable experiences, connect with their bodies, relate with arousal, with turn on, and also guide them into self-touch that not only builds arousal and energy, but also grounds and helps become more centered. So I'm gonna pop on here with the next teacher, which is a friend of mine, Amber Kelly, and we're gonna talk more about what the guided self-pleasure experience is and what it isn't. And I highly encourage you to listen in and put any questions down in the comment section about this experience. It is not a very common opportunity you're going to discover to be led by someone that's spent years of their lives learning about arousal, about energy, about turn on, and being able to guide you and instruct you. One of the biggest problems that we face as men is nobody mentored us in how to relate with arousal or turn on or even touch our bodies. And because of that, a lot of men have created a lot of negative impacts on their nervous system in the way that they're touching their bodies. So here we go. Let's join in Amber here. If any questions come up, please put them down in the comment bar and I'll respond to them, or Amber can respond to them. Any questions about what this experience is, or anything in connection to masturbation or self-pleasure, all of those questions are welcome here as I wait for Amber to join me here. And I'm also going to post the link down here in the bottom. This link you can click and is to the event, which is also in my stories right now if you're watching the recording, or you can just message me for it if you want it. And let's get Amber on here. Amber, if you're still on here, I think it's waiting for you to jump on. This is the fourth teacher we've had in the community that's led one of these guided self-pleasure experiences. And okay, Amber seems to be having a little trouble joining, so we'll just wait for her to pop back on here. But these guided self-pleasures experiences, as I said, we've had about 4 other teachers. Okay, resend it, Amber. I allowed you on, but it said that you were unable to join, so try to press it again. These experiences I brought in teachers from a lot of different backgrounds, and some of them in Tantra, some of them in direct, just resent. Okay, there we go. Yeah, the different teachers that have come in, and just so you understand a little bit more about what it is hello,
Hello,
you made it.
we're here.
Welcome, welcome. I'll give you a little space to just introduce yourself and share a little bit of your background and why you're here.
Okay. This feels really juicy. My name is Amber Kelly, and I am here because I work in the realm of sacred sex and intimacy. I work predominantly with men, very rarely with women. And my deepest heart's wish around it is to have more men in the world who have a really holistic, wholesome, carnal, erotic, sacred, reverent, playful approach to their sexuality, so that my sisters can really enjoy themselves and be initiated into their full sexuality, and the power of men in their influence of women's sexuality is just so potent. And
Mm.
I've found such a beautiful calling in working with men in that initiatory space, reminding them of who they are and why they are and what they get to be. So
And you predominantly do these things in person with men right now, right?
I do. Yep. I work typically with them for 2 to 3 months, virtually. Lots of homework assignments, lots of trust building exercises, lots of just refamiliarizing them with themselves. And then we spend 3 days together in person, one on one. And that's where we go into a really deep dive. And I get very feral about their growth and their evolution. I have been described as relentless, and I accept and I revel in that moniker.
Beautiful. And what are you feeling bubbling up for you, percolating for you in this online experience that's going to be happening on Wednesday? What's feeling activated for you in this unique experience that's different than what you normally do?
Hmm. One of pretty much the pillar of my work is head, heart, cock cohesion. So helping men come into more of an alignment between their head, heart, and cock, knowing that typically there's one always that is guiding, and that often will result in the other two or another one becoming atrophied. And a big part of my work, like a big onus of my work, is the cock-heart connection. So men love profoundly. Their love is deep and rich. And it is often divorced from their sex. And that's really unfortunate. But it is kind of how the world, or how this modern world kind of birthed us all.
Mm,
We've grown up in a culture that does kind of divorce love from sex, the heart from the cock or the heart from the pussy.
mm,
And especially if we were raised in a high demand kind of conservative, oppressive religion, which I was.
mm,
Um, so this work of really bringing reconnection and integrity back between the cock and the heart, I have
mm,
found probably the most transformative.
mm,
And then infusing that with the primal masculine and letting the primal masculine kind of wake up,
mm,
be informed by and inform that heart cock connection.
mm,
So it's not to take the reverent and replace the carnal. It's to take the carnal and the reverent and kind of like smush them together.
Thanks, Charles. So, for everyone listening for the event that's going to be on Wednesday, this guided self-pleasure experience, it's going to look very similarly to this. It'll start out with both Amber and I. You'll see us on the screens. You won't see anyone else. Everyone's videos will be locked. Their audios will be locked. You'll just be listening to us in the intro. I'm going to pop off, and then Amber's just going to lead you through the whole experience. I'll be there to support in the chat. I'll be there to support with the energetics, and then I'll pop back on at the end when Amber's done. We usually have a little like round robin. Everyone can kind of share their experience if they want to be heard. We won't pop anyone else's videos on, but we'll turn the audios on if you want to talk. So I just want you to know kind of what the experience is going to be like. You'll just see Amber. You'll just be listening to her, and she's going to lead you through an experience that will most likely involve touch, maybe some movement, maybe some sound, maybe some breath, activation of energy, but the whole time like being very mindful and present, because the big thing that we as men face, in my opinion, is the type of masturbation we learned was hiding in secrecy while watching porn, not making any sounds in the same body position over and over. And so we've kind of become stagnant in the way we relate to arousal and self-pleasure. And this guided self-pleasure experience is to completely rewrite that and change that and start to wake the fuck up again, that we're not some stagnant dead being, even particularly when we relate to sexuality. So I'll pass it back to you from anything else you want to say with that.
Yeah. Um, the the way that masculine erotic energy can work in the body can be an incredibly enlivening, like it can be enlivening regardless of the method of self-pleasure. Like even the quick, quick slam bam, thank you, ma'am kind of self-pleasure can be very enlivening. But it's typically very short. It's a spike up and a spike down.
Yeah.
When you learn how to like increase the energy, run the energy through, yes, through the pelvis and through the anatomy of the pelvis, but being able to kind of spread it through the whole body, bring it up into the shoulders, like the masculine center of balance that kind of exists up here, and then all of a sudden your spine is a little straighter and your shoulders are back and maybe your chin comes up because there's a physiologic response when we can bring more of that erotic energy to other places in our body, in the body, that aren't typically used whenever we self pleasure. Often self pleasure is something that, especially for men, is something that isn't lingered. It's not necessarily
Ooh.
lingered
Yeah.
or slowed down or indulged. It often is very quick. It's kind of like I just need to get this out of the way so I can think about other things. And what I want to do on Wednesday is to have a very erotic kind of feel to it, but just a different pace. And that ability to linger, and the ability to be led in something in a way at a pace, with directives that maybe you haven't before.
And I love that you bring that in, the lingering. And that's what I love about this event, is to be in sensual, sexual, erotic energy, and
Mhm.
in a container that's the focus for this long, is lingering. I mean, for most guys, I think their masturbation sessions are probably under 10 minutes. And then a man's like, if my masturbation sessions are under 10 minutes, but then I want to go last 30 minutes or an hour in the bedroom, like, I'm not training my nervous system for that. I'm training my nervous system for wham bam thank you ma'am. And then I'm upset to not have some long tantric erotic experience with a partner. Well, if I'm hardwiring my nervous system for that over and over again, and that's what I love about this as the guided self-pleasure experience, is it's not about getting anywhere. It's about the whole entire experience of being whatever, each teacher is leading us into.
Mhm. Yeah, self-pleasure, and I actually prefer the term self-pleasure a little bit more than masturbation. Masturbation tends to, especially if you were raised in any sort of religious paradigm, it tends to have a negative connotation. But self-pleasure can be something that is a rich part of life. It's can even be like a self-care part of life, and but you have to put it in that category.
Yeah.
You can't just do the same thing over and over and over, and like you were saying, train your nervous system in these very specific ways and then think it's self-care. It's not. It typically is something that you're doing almost, or very unconsciously.
I'm going to read this question just because I realized I responded in text, but for anyone that's watching the recording, the question that came up was, how long is this? So it's 60 minutes. That's including the intro and the discussion afterwards. What level of privacy should anyone create? Whatever privacy you need in your own home, whatever level you need. Obviously, you don't want to, most likely don't want to be disturbed. Some people have had their partners with them in this experience, like joining them, which is awesome. So whatever privacy you want, we're not going to turn your camera on. So you can be in the nude, candles lit, sprawled out on your bed, whatever you want, like whatever you want to create for yourself. Will there be any need for sort of aftercare? Yeah, I mean, who knows what could come up? And some of the aftercare might be in the open discussion afterwards. But yeah, I would say spaciousness, like don't have like right at the end of that hour, you got to go, do some serious thing that there might be something that stirs for you. What kind of space will it be best for anyone to be in fully engaged in this? Yeah, I would say, what kind of space could you create for yourself? Safety, knowing that you're not going to get interrupted, and spaciousness, that you can enjoy the experience. Turn your notifications off on your phone, kind of unplug, and like Amber just said, let it be a self-care experience. So great questions there. All right, Amber. Obviously, we will probably share some more things in the coming days, but anything else you feel important to say on this live?
Mm. This is really meant to be a nourishing experience. It's not meant to be super like raw and edgy. It's meant to be an introduction to a different way to relate to your body, a different way to relate to the way that erotic energy moves in your body, a different way to maybe even just a different way to relate to erection versus not erection. And just to be able to be in that space where there's very little, well, there's no performance.
Mm,
I won't see you, you'll see me, but there's no one to perform for. And so
mm.
there's a beautiful moment to expand into that allows your body to relax in a way that maybe it hasn't before.
Beautiful.
Yum.
And there is a link in the comments here. Does this help with nervous system regulation? Yes. This is like one of the main reasons this experience exists, is to activate arousal and charge in your body. This is one of the most beautiful things about sexual energy, is that we can activate a lot of sensation and arousal in the body while purposefully practicing grounding and regulation of the nervous system. So instead of like getting blasted by porn, which hugely activates the sympathetic nervous system and is very easy to relate with stress, this is going to be like an experience where an actual human is leading you in an experience and guiding you into breath, guiding you into presence with yourself. So it's hugely designed for nervous system regulation. Nope, nothing around circumcised or uncircumcised.
All is welcome.
We talk about that stuff. We do other videos with that. It's a great subject to dive into. Really important stuff we do in the community. But for this event, bring what you got, and you'll be led in a beautiful way to relate with your body, whatever you have going on. All right, thank you, Amber. If anyone has questions, reach out to me or reach out to Amber. Follow Amber, and we're gonna drop in Wednesday evening. The link's in here. The link's in my story. I highly recommend you come check it out. I doubt you will run into this opportunity very many other places in the way that we're doing this here. So it is an opportunity. It is an edge. I'm sure you can feel a little resistance, but know that you're safe. Either you show up live or you'll get the recording. I highly encourage you to show up live. But if it's an edge and the day of you're scared, like, reach out to me. I'll be your pep talk and get you there. But if not, you can always check it out in the recording and come to another future one.
Yeah, ask for encouragement. Ask for support if you need it. This is
All right.
this can be a big step for people who haven't ever discussed this type of thing. So advocate for yourself.
All right. I'll see you Wednesday.
All right, love. Talk
Take
to you later.
care.
Bye.